So I've got family in town for the holidays. My sister wanted to try out metal detecting, so I took her to a permission about 10 minutes from my house. As you will see, I give her a crash course on how to metal detect, and she did pretty good. Okay, so you need to know what the hot spot is on your coil. So just picture it's right here.
Okay.
Literally right there is the bullseye. So let me grab this ring. So this makes a beep every time it passes that. One beep. That's the sound you're looking for, is the beep, 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 beep. That tells you that it's underneath that center spot right there.
Okay.
So if we put this silver ring down there. Now it's also beeping when it hits these outside portions of your coil, but you want to pinpoint it before, so you know where to dig and know that it's in between that. So if I hear all this,
what's it look
what
like?
I'm tighten up. Yeah, it's showing the numbers. That's a high number, so that's showing it's silver. But what we're listening for is the beeps, because we want to know where to dig. So when you hear something, you kind of tighten up. You tighten up your swings, and you're looking for this sound. See that?
Yeah.
Okay, so now, look at this. Now, when we get this, now you got to turn. See that? You have to turn like 90 degrees so that right here, it's telling us that it's somewhere along this line.
Okay.
It could be here, it could be there. So we turn, and now we know it's right there to dig.
Okay.
So when you hear something, now we want to turn, keep an eye on that section of ground, right? Okay. So if we kind of you see that? Now keep a picture. We can obviously see the ring right now, but keep your eye, pick a spot of the grass or the leaf or whatever is exactly there, turn, and then keep an eye on where that is, and then put your shovel probably 6 to 8 inches away from where you're going to dig and shove that in. But that's how you pinpoint a target. And it's super important that you do that right, because if you dig a hole and you're digging down deep and you still can't find your target, and you're digging all the way to China, odds are you didn't pinpoint it correctly, and your target is in the sidewall of your hole. So if you missed it by a couple inches, you're digging straight down, and it's actually in the side of the hole. So that's an important part before you even stick your shovel in the ground, is that you've pinpointed it and you know exactly where to dig your plug.
Okay.
Now to adjust it, you want the coil, you want to be as low as you can to the ground. You want your arm relaxed.
Okay.
Right? So if you want it lower than that, do you think you want the coil lower than that right there?
Well, I'm like grazing the ground.
Yeah, which is what you want.
Okay.
So is that the right length of the?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Here's something that's important. Now you're just walking and you're hovering your coil around the ground.
Yeah.
Here's what you got to understand. Here's your pinpointer, right? We use this when we get into the hole to locate the target. This buzzes a solid buzz or beep. I have it silenced, but this is a solid vibration when it's touching metal, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't work that way. You have to swing your coil, because the only sound you're going to hear is the beep every time it passes the center of your coil. So you can't walk around just kind of hovering it around, or you're not going to hear anything, because it doesn't just pick up a solid buzz just by hovering over a target. This does, your coil doesn't. So you have to swing. Yeah, so here's what you're doing. When you're swinging, watch me. You want to keep it flat to the ground. You want to go low to the ground, but there's also stuff right here that you're going to hit, like pieces of the crops that were here, but you still want to go low. So as you're going, look at me. You're going, you're walking. Now what we're doing, we're kind of going at this pace. See this? And I stop because I heard something. So now I say, whoa, I stop. And now I want to investigate that. So I can see the numbers on my screen. So it gives me an idea of what that is.
Yeah.
But see what I did? Just like I showed you. So I get the beep, 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 beep. Now I got to turn to pinpoint it. Beep, beep. So I can pick that spot exactly in the ground, and I know it's right there.
So what is it?
I don't know. We got to dig it up.
Oh, on your thing, what kind of metal is it? Doesn't it
It's
say?
like a 26, something like that. It could be a nickel, or it could be like a shotgun head stamp. But go ahead and put your coil over there, and you detect it. So swing like you're low to the ground.
Oh.
There. You got to tighten up your swings and go a little faster. Tighten it up.
What do you mean?
Shorter strokes.
Oh. So now what?
Let me show you. You have to pinpoint this, so this is what you're looking for. You're looking for that beep, 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 beep. Turn to the side.
Oh, yeah. So will the numbers get higher as you get closer?
Don't even worry about the numbers.
Oh.
The numbers correspond with the type of metal it is. But you're just trying to locate it. So when I say tighten up, so you're walking, you're doing this, right? Also, when you're swinging, don't let this come up and curve like this on the end of your swing. You don't want to do that. You want it to be flat to the ground and as low to the ground as you want without hitting things. So when I say you're walking along and you're doing this, when I say tighten up your swing, that means tighten it up and do shorter like this, so we can actually locate the target until we hear that beep, beep, beep each time we pass it over. And then, so it's right here. So we come back a little bit, so we don't want to dig into our target. And then with our toe, we just lift up the plug like that. Now, we don't just get down and grab our pinpointer and look for it. Before we do that, now that we've kicked that plug out of the ground, let's hit our...
So it's in there.
Yeah, so now do that. So now I know I don't have to go in there and dig. I know my target is in the plug. You hear it now?
Yep.
Now do that where it's a tightened up. Now turn to the side. Kind of keep your eye right on that spot where it's making the beep. Go faster. There you go. See how it's showing up when you go quicker?
Yeah, so now how do we get it?
So now we know it's in our plug right here. Here's another point. When you're digging in here, don't try to locate the target just by looking at it. Use your pinpointer. I don't know what I'm looking
for.
Watch. This is now going to locate, it's going to vibrate when I touch something, right?
Yeah.
So I can feel it vibrating now. Now here's what some people do. They know it's in here, so they just put down their pinpointer and they start looking through the... You're wasting your time. Use your pinpointer. So if I know it's here, now I'm going to grab this dirt with my hands. I'm going to put my pinpointer on it and it's vibrating. So I know I have it in my hand. Use your pinpointer to kind of move the dirt out of the way. So what's left is... We're not there yet. And sometimes you'll drop it and then you go back on the ground to find it. So now we got to figure out what it is that you got. I don't know. It's a piece of lead. It looks like it could be a piece of lead shot.
What does that mean? Like a bullet?
Yeah, like from a shotgun, but it's just weird. It's not really shaped like that. We'll have to look at it later to see if it's got a hole through it or something. If it did, that... Yeah, I don't know. So we save it. We put it in our finds box. And that's something we can investigate later. When you're done digging, you always
dig it back.
You always cover your holes. If it's grass, you flip it up so the green side's up. But you want it to look like no one was even there.
Okay.
Okay? So we're going to dig our little coil or plug out. Now we're going to hit it to see if it's still in the hole or is it in our plug. It's in our plug.
Can I do it?
Yep. Set your metal detector down. Just let it hit the ground. Okay. And now we turn this on and now
Is it on?
Yep.
I don't feel it.
Now listen, that's not just the tip, it's also the side. So if I know it's on...
Oh, it's right here.
Right there. We kicked it out of the... We tossed it out.
What is that? It's a circle.
That's a piece of lead shot. And that's larger. It's larger than what we got. This didn't come from a shotgun. This, more than likely, this bigger piece of lead could have come from a musket.
What's that?
Like an old rifle.
Oh.
Where they shoved a bunch of stuff in there. It could be. Yeah, it could be. It's bigger, so we'll save that. Now, when we're done, we want to always make sure that that was the only thing in the hole. Right? So when we're done, here, let's stand up. We want to put our coil over it one more time, see, to make sure it's silent and make sure we didn't leave anything. Now we can bury our hole, step on it, and now we're off to find the next target. And when you're working fields, you don't have to necessarily go in like a grid pattern where you think you have to cover every square inch. You can just kind of wander around, zigzag. Okay, so it's right there. Now we check our plug.
Still in there.
Still in the hole. I'm going to dig a little bit more out. Okay. So it's in there. So now we can put down our stuff. Okay, now we got it in our hand.
Right there. Another.
No. Is that it?
Oh, no.
It's going to be right there. Oh, check this out.
What's that?
Oh, wow.
What is it?
I think that's a button. But let me see. We'll look into that a little bit more, but that might be like a super old button.
How do you tell it's a button? Like, how do you even know?
Well, if it's a button, you're looking, is there a design on it?
I don't know.
A lot of buttons don't have designs on them, but you can see a shank on the back, that loop. But a lot of times that shank could be gone. So you would look for like dots on the back where maybe the shank was before, or a clump in the middle where the shank would have been soldered on. But being out here in the field, we don't know.
What kind of metal is it?
We're not sure. It's I'm not sure. But what we'll do, this is about as much as we can do out in the field. So we put it in our finds box. We go home, we look at it a little closer and clean it up, and we may be able to see an image on it or kind of research and figure out what it is. But for now, that was our target. So we're gonna cover our hole, and now we're gonna move on. But we're gonna keep this in our finds box and look into it a little bit more. Now here's something that's important. So if we found something, or if you find a coin, or we want to kind of spiral from this area to see, are there other things close by? So if we find a target here, there's no sense in us walking 100 yards and picking up at a different part of the field. So we know there was activity and something was dropped right here. So let's kind of stick to this area and kind of spiral a little bit and see if there's other stuff we can find. So the piece that we weren't sure and thought was possibly a button turned out to be a very old bale seal, lead bale seal. What that was when the crops were bound together and for sale and weighed and all official, they would put a bale seal on it, either with string or metal wire, and then they would press that lead seal with their official, the business name or what have you. The newer ones would have more of a stamp on it with the business on it, but this was pretty old 1700s, 1800s, but either way, it was a really cool find from my sister to find this bale seal. All right, so this is either an old button or a coin. You really had to work for this. The ground was rock hard, but here.
Did you leave your brush?
Oh, thank God. I thought I lost my brush.
Oh, what is it?
I know what it is.
What is it?
That's a button that says crown on the top and B and L in the center of it, I'll bet.
Yeah, I see a L, I think. What does it mean? Or no, that's a number.
That says crown on the top.
Unless I'm looking at it upside down.
Yeah. It says crown, B and L, and then brand along the bottom, it should say. Oh, I see
Right
something
there.
round.
It's a coin.
Yep.
It looks like modern day coin. Is it?
Yeah, it looks like a penny. So it's,
Or
do you see
not.
Lincoln?
Oops. Can you get your
Can we see that?
brush?
Yeah,
That's
hold on.
Lincoln, isn't it?
That's a wheat penny.
But
That's an old
like
penny.
an original.
That's a wheat penny. That's not a Lincoln
yeah.
Memorial. That's an old penny.
What's the date?
That's cool. That's a good find.
Yeah, that's Lincoln.
Yeah, it is, but we're trying to see the date.
Oh. 1 cent.
Here.
19.
All right, so your finds for your first day metal detecting.
My finds for today, a wheat penny, I think from the 50s, but we can't see it. And then a button from 1915 and another button from I don't know when.
That could be super old. Yeah. Okay. Did you have fun today?
Yes.
Okay. See ya.